Plus, Vengeful Spirit has a lot of good synergy with the Gyrocopter, buffing up his damage, which is obviously means a lot more for a Gyrocopter than most other heroes via that Flak Cannon. And now Alliance probably just need a good holding hero. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the Puck here, just not sure it wouldn't do well against the Alchemist, and that would be the biggest issue. The spam out of Acid Spray, Puck's HP pool is too small to deal with that, but they do need a strong disabling hero. Lena's still in the pool technically. I can't remember what Lena was affected.
So you're actually thinking this is a loader Ursa?
Yeah, I do.
As I'm wondering if
Bat Rider, Razor. Oh, Razor. Yeah, that's a good choice. I was gonna say Viper actually as my next hero, but Razor is pretty comparable to the strengths of Viper, and he's very effective versus Gyrocopter for the same reasons that Vengeful Spirit is good for Gyrocopter. Drain him of his damage, that Flak Cannon exponentially gets weaker, right?
Yep. I was actually thinking about it as far as the mid lane goes, and you're right, Razor's actually going to be a hell of a lot better there. But initially it's like, well, you're going up against an Alchemist. You could send the Ursa into that with a lot of consumables, and then you got Oracle behind him to help set up and then be that early attack. Like, Bane could cause a couple of problems, but it's maybe not too much to deal with.
My biggest concern about this is actually going to be the fact that they are lacking disables. That was the first thing, because you want to be able to make sure that Gyrocopter isn't able to kite around the Ursa. That is the one big advantage that Gyrocopter has over an Ursa, is that he gets such early movement speed, because he goes things like upgraded boots, S and Y, drums maybe, and he just will be able to just dance around the Ursa. And that's Ursa's biggest weakness, is heroes being able to kite him. So I thought they needed more lockdown, and because they chose the Razor, while it was a nice pickup, does leave that weakness still exposed. Digital Chaos also have many ways to be able to kind of push the game a bit and save certain heroes. They have both Nightmare as well as Swap when it comes to the Ursa, trying to focus down one hero. And that's going to be a big loss of momentum because you're so dependent on Fury swipes.
At the same time, though, when you start using abilities like that, you have to remember the control that arises from a full Chen army.
Yeah.
Like, a potential then to have no escape from Clockwork Cogs. Or from Oracle's also big presence, which he can have in the fights. And if you've got no escape from that, then Razor's stealing all of your damage. Yeah, there's no lockdown as such, but there's not as many escape mechanisms. You look at all the cores, Surge is kind of it, and Swap. Like, Nightmare to create some space, and Call Down to create some space, Concoction to create some space. But they're going to need to get these items up. I suppose it's not that difficult for an Alchemist to get items up, because he's an Alchemist. He can easily do it.
Yeah. If this was the old Alchemist, I would actually say that Digital Chaos won the draft heavily. I am not quite sure about the new Alchemist and like how his rate of farming is going to be, and if he's actually able to stay ahead, because that was the thing. Alchemist could still lose games even when he was massively ahead of heroes. Now it's even harder for him to maintain that kind of big net worth advantage, and the mid lane matchup is already difficult, but it's even harder if you can't get that immediate fast bottle. Arteezy is substituting that though. See what his build is? He's going like a half bottle build. He gets the healing sound, stout shield, and he leaves enough gold in his bank that when he picks up the Grievel's Greed and grabs the Bounding Rune, he'll have the bottle. So,
and Alliance are not coming to this. Like, what do you want to do? The Observer Wards get placed down. DC move very aggressively into this, and they actually put a Sentry Ward in the lane, expecting that the aggressive TP out from Alliance would have put the Observer Ward in there.
Oh, you know what? I love the Aghanims for Ursa here in this game.
What makes it more?
Major disable, Fiend's Grip. He would be able to pop it in the middle of Fiend's Grip. So, I'm like kind of reevaluating the Ags because you mentioned essentially as it's a replacement to the BKB.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea.
We'll see if the thought is shared by Loda, who will be taking his Ursa to a different lane. He's actually going to take it to the off lane, and they put Admiral Bulldog in the safe lane. But DC have moved their lanes as well. So you got TC as well as AUY. That'll be the offlane VS and Gyrocopter. And then 1437 and Arteezy get to play around the mid up against S4.
This is smart. They shouldn't have the Clockwork matched up against the Darkseer. It's just an obnoxious matchup and is favorable to the Darkseer. He's a hero that requires more farm anyway. So you don't want to have your Ursa shut down. He's kind of like a Huskar in the regards that you can't afford to have your Ursa lose his laning phase. He'll never come back because he doesn't have good farming mechanisms.
That's a wonderful Iron Shell there, Bulba. He's going to try and punch EGM out. EGM just removed the Iron Shell after he realized he'll end up in a bit of a duel up against the Darkseer.
And that's the thing. You don't need to channel Fortune's End. It could just be an instant purge.
A lot of damage being given to S4. He went for the Static Link first. He's got Plaster Field now. But Arteezy and 1437 is making life very, very difficult in that middle lane for Razor. But still, S4 is able to grab 5 CS and deny 4 against Arteezy, who's currently sitting at the 2 for 2 as the Alchemist.
Let's see. The Fairy Fire is being picked up. One on S4, one on EGM, one on TC. So it looks like we are going to continue that train of thought that some of these cores and maybe a support will pick up an early Fairy Fire. And it's just kind of like that saving mechanism can make the difference between giving away First Blood and getting First Blood.
Wondering how long until we see the presence of Arke. Like, he's being watched by this Observer Ward, which was placed down by DC. So DC committed 2 Observer Wards into the Radiant Jungle. One was to do the block, which got de-warded out. And the other one is to watch the movement of Arke and the rest of his creeps. But if he had something like a Harpy, or anything which could just make life a little bit more difficult for 1437 as well as Arteezy in the mid, they could have had such a bigger presence, but right now he just hasn't.
Sleep, they're going to go on S4 here. In fact, they might be able to kill him with AUI coming in to stun. They easily get the First Blood.
Nicely done. Huge negative armor as well, combining Wave of Terror, and then you throw out the Acid Spray. So easy to pop off S4. And very difficult to read it. Like Arteezy, like now Arke is throwing down the Observer Ward, but DC saw it being placed. So they understand where the Alliance vision is, and they're going to either avoid it or they just smoke under it next time.
So this this ward that he placed is actually... It's actually the Vengeful Spirit ward, I think, that's going to be more popular as time goes on.
You're just thinking between the positions?
Yeah, the problem with the River ward here is the fact that, I guess because Chen's constantly in the jungle, he'll see the rotation through this other ramp area. But the thing is that the Radiant jungle is so much easier to invade now, and the ganks on mid are a lot easier too, because this one River ward does not actually protect the mid anymore, because they could go the longer route deeper in through the jungle and wrap around.
1437, gonna get snared up, and now you start to see... There's a little bit of extra damage coming out with the Skeleton Warriors, but they can't keep the battle going. 1437 just brain saps it out. Another thing too with the ward change up. Hello AUI. Can Admiral Bulldog get the cog lock? No, he doesn't actually have it leveled up. So TC comes in for the Rocket Barrage. They're going to give a lot of negative armor to the Clockwork once again. But he's just fast enough to get away. Middle lane S4. Arteezy going to couple Plaster Field.
They can get him.
And, well, there's your control on 1437 and Arteezy. But they have the stun available for the Mud Golem, but they didn't follow through.
Yeah, Chen wasn't quite yet level 4, so he didn't have the big nuke coming out from Test of Faith. I thought maybe if they charge uphill, get a little bit more damage, and if they got a Test of Faith off, level 2, it might kill Arteezy, but not enough damage. They're actually going to check for... not sure if they're...
Are they here for the stack?
I think they're checking for stacks, yeah. But they don't have the way to clear through it very effectively. I think they're actually just ganking, because you've got Unstable Concoction level 2 on Alchemist. It seems like they just actually want to go for a kill, and they're leaving the lane. They're going to wrap around behind S4.
If S4 runs north, he might be okay, but Planterfield's going to go, and he's dead. Like the gang squad's there from Arke as well as EGM. AUI is probably going to be the lowest one. You're seeing EGM already prep the attack, and with the Centaur follow-up stomp, they will get a 1-for-1 trade-off. But it's a VS for a Razor, and it's about to become a 2-for-1. Arteezy killing off Arke, and they can move over towards EGM. There's no more stuns available, however, for DC, so they have to break off the attack.
Yeah, they're just not getting that early advantage. Unfortunately, the movement there from Digital Chaos was just perfect. Like the fact that they were able to pop S4 really quickly because the 2 Alliance supports were actually heading into the Dire jungle, or just waiting out for Arteezy to spawn out in the middle lane. They were just not in position to be able to provide a save, or at least a better counter kill opportunity. The top lane matchup, that's the thing, is that the Oracle was shutting out the Darkseer, but the Darkseer could still jungle. So if you want to compare the effectiveness of the two supports, Oracle shutting out the Darkseer and the Bane shutting out the Razor, Bane definitely win.
EGM stead. AUI comes in with a magic missile. The concoction's easily available just to kill him off. It's a little bit of extra money coming the way of the Alchemist. And EGM was moving down to try and be that initiation for Admiral Bulldog. Lock TC in position and then go to work with the rocket barrage. With the battery assault, sorry.
I like this idea. The acid spray, because you're not going to get nearly as much out of Greevil's Green. In fact, they're still going to go on S4.
Yeah, concoction from Arteezy. S4 was locked, walking up the river. 1437 still got that brain sap with AUI rotating over. The magic missile is available, throws it out as Arteezy takes off the Nightmare. S4, one more attack. He dropped down to 11. Lifeblood is trying to buy the space. The plans to field Arteezy. He just needs the vision, and he'll get it
Oh, the AoE! He hit Loda, and the AoE of Unstable Concoction sniped out the Razor. Meanwhile, bottom lane, though, Admiral Bulldog picks up a huge kill with the help of Ake. They kill the Gyrocopter. So while that was going on, we had the fight at bottom that overall looks very favorable for Alliance now.
Yeah, because with that, now Admiral Bulldog has his level 6. He's got himself 1,400 gold. So we can look for the rotations to come out from the Clockwork to attack. And Alliance switching their lanes up. Like, we got an Ursa Warrior with 1,100 gold on him, too.
Yeah, he
so
can
get we have to look towards Roshan because he doesn't even need the extra lifesteal. He can work with the Chen. They just need to make sure the DC can't contest them when they go in.
Yeah. Here's something about Oracle as well. People don't often think about the false promise and the way it acts with healing, but with certain heroes, it is incredibly effective. Huskar is one of them. Alchemist is another, but Ursa, any hero that actually gets a large amount of lifesteal out during their during a short period of time holds a lot of value with that false promise. So Ursa, if he's actually hit by that false promise and takes away the disables, etc., and he's able to get on top of someone, he'll probably heal up to full during that short duration.
We'll get to watch his build. I still want to see if he gets the Aghanim Scepter. Tier 1 for Tier 1 towers can be the trade-off. S4 versus TZ. As far as the trade-offs goes, because that is a big brand that a lot of people are putting on this game as well. Former teammates split up after TI5. Both go their separate ways.
S4 versus RTZ.
And now, of course, RTZ screwing around with AUI's team.
Yeah.
Like
that's got to be a meme now, right?
It really...
Anytime RTZ dies, it's just going to be like, oh, RTZ's throwing. RTZ's killing AUI's team.
Yeah.
He destroyed it, EG, for AUI, and now he's destroying Digital Chaos.
Wow. 1437. Hook shot from Bulldog's going to come in. He'll trap in that Bane, who's trying to get the brain sap off. The battery assault's making it very difficult. EGM throws out the nuke, but 1437. Okay, that's not going to save him. A level 1 Earthshock is going to still be enough to get that kill.
Still wrap around the rest, though.
Yeah, that move must be with a phase boots. AUI TPing out in the tree line. They're going to find him. They have a stun. Admiral Bulldog goes for the cog push, but too far away. The roundabout cog's not doing it.
Yeah, that's the one thing. This team has zero stuns if Admiral Bulldog is not there. So they're going to have some issues with TPs. So hopefully Ake is always able to get some stun creeps. You might see, because the Rod of Atos is not really needed this game, you may see EGM get a Yules, which will not only great item for him, but also help provide some extra disables against TPs. But we'll see if he actually ever gets that amount of farm, because this is clearly not the same kind of game that he had in the last series.
Yeah, this one's a little closer than our last one. It's only 700 net worth going the way of DC in this, and the experience is just a little bit the way of Alliance. So
Constant
really
smokes from Digital Chaos, really trying to keep up that early pressure and make sure that the Ursa doesn't get too far ahead.
So they're also trying to make sure there's no way to get over to Roshan. If you keep these attacks going, Alliance will never feel confident enough to attack. Nice little troll trap actually cancelling off 1437's hold, but the concoction's still going to fly from the Alchemist. So they get the kill over on the Chen, but not the most efficient of kills coming out from DC.
Yeah, that was actually... It's just sad watching Ake die there because he had such quick reactions there. To instantly grab the troll, net, stop the Fiend's grip, go for the stun on the Vengeful Spirit, and follow up with the clap. But in the end, his efforts were just not enough. The bot space, though.
Yeah. S4 to attack into the mid, but Arteezy with the Acid Spray slows this up pretty quickly. And on bottom lane, AUI and TC combine together, and they're inflicting quite substantial damage into the tier 2 tower on bot lane. EGM's prepping again, but what's S4 going to do? Plants the field and drop him down. Arteezy's got 14 1 charges and Chemical Rage available. They're not going to kill him.
Yeah, it's actually, the biggest thing is going to be what Admiral Bulldog is going to do very soon. He, because of the higher levels in Rocket, which you noticed, he went for a 2-0-2 build and didn't go Cogs at level 4. He's been able to get a good amount of CS, and then also that Chen gank, where they got the Gyrocopter kill. That was obviously a lot as well. So he's going to have a Blade Mail by the 12-minute mark. And that's way before the BKB will be online for TC. He can actively hunt down the Gyrocopter or potentially the Darkseer if he has Ion Shell on him. And obviously the supports are very easy killed for Admiral Bulldog. I think this is really where they're going to try and move out now as like a 3 or 4 man, go for a pick-off, open the map a little bit for the Ursa to take Roshan, and for them just to go for kills.
Problem is, though, wherever they're going, unless they go onto the cover of smoke, they're always being scattered out. These observer wards from DC, with the new positioning of the lanes in the ramp area, they're committing multiple wards to ensure they can see every movement, and this ramp ward they've got here actually notices the movement a lot earlier. There's a quicker movement into the jungle, and AUI, there it is, right underneath it. Admiral Bulldog's actually going to have his smoke broken already, which means Alliance, like, they can wrap around, or they go in for Roshan. That's their only real choices. Yeah. RK will throw down actually quite a nice ward on the other side of the trees. It's going to be difficult to see with a normal sentry, but there's this bloody kobold just sitting here, belonging to the Gyrocopter, with his helm of the Dominator, which stops Alliance from just doing a sneak Roshan.
You know, the old things with Oracle was he was super effective at doing Roshan because Fate's Edict increased the amount of physical damage that the target took. But that was deemed pretty OP. And now he just disarms with Fate's Edict. But before, it was like Roshan was so easily killed by Oracle and Ursa combined.
1437. He's starting the action with a Nightmare over an S4. Arteezy gets stunned on Bulldog, so Bulldog not jumping forward, but with the Troll Trap and Arcade's control, they're going to kill off Arteezy very, very quickly, and there's your hookshot in from Bulldog, pushing back 3 heroes, controlling TC. He may die, but it's for the greater good. DC are going to get trapped inside the jungle. AUI might try and swap, but he just goes into the waiting arms of the Fuzzy Wuzzy, while 1437 tries to move back behind the tier 2 tower. S4, well, he started the static link. That's the reason why he stopped for the moment. But he couldn't get the control on. Again, the lack of stuns really hurting Alliance. They're relying so heavily on Arcade to just micro perfectly.
Yeah, this is exactly what Alliance need to be doing right now. They're 2 players who should be shining. The Chen has reached this critical tipping point where you've got the maxed out number of units that you can have. And Ake's doing beautifully so far. Surrounding Arteezy was a great setup play. And then Admiral Bulldog with that early Blade Mail, recognizing the opportunity to continue to force the fight, getting the Gyrocopter in the cogs and actually killing him with the Blade Mail on Rocket Barrage. That sets up Alliance. They automatically win the fight. And if they can win another fight like that, then they'll get Roshan, they'll have an Aegis on the Ursa, and Alliance will just be unstoppable for like a 5-minute window.
This is the second smoke in the space of 2 minutes, which has been scattered out by an Observer Ward. This time, it was that Observer Ward of Arcade he put on the other side of the tree line that DC did not scout out. Arcade, though, he's still going to get stunned up, so for all of his warding and all of his efforts, he's still going to die underneath his own tier 2 tower. But it's only the Chen who, okay, it's the Chen and his army which will end up getting picked off. But the cause for Alliance stay alive. And Loda still is there in limbo for his next major item. He's got 1,700 gold.
DC recognized what I was talking about, that Alliance is about to like seriously come online and really snowball, and they're willing to use all of their smokes. They've used 3 smokes so far, and they won't have another smoke for another 2 minutes, but it doesn't matter if they could just stop the momentum from Alliance climbing, and they may just try and take Roshan themselves.
Bulldog's already scouting it though. That rocket's flying in. Alliance are keeping their eyes very, very close on DC. Now TZ, well, he does have the chemical ration. Not a lot of one charges prepared for him.
This is not a good fight for DC. They should not continue to do this.
Well, the rockets keep flying in, keeps the vision up for Alliance. S4's waiting as Roshan is continuously dropping down. They have no acid spray for 7 seconds, so they won't be able to turn this onto Alliance. But now in comes Loda! He jumps in! It's killed by the Radiant! Gyrocopter will still snatch the Aegis, the Immortal, as Ursa, being babysat, Admiral Bulldog with the hook shot in. It's going to try and buy time for Loda to attack the Darkseer wall. It's doing some serious work, especially 1437's Fiend Script. It stopped Loda from doing everything and bought the space for TZ to come back alive again after the Aegis, the Immortal, expends to keep the damage coming in towards S4. It didn't look like a good fight for originally for DC, but they're making it work, chasing down against S4. EGM's also on the run. S4 will be sent back to base by the Chen, but now both EGM as well as RK called out. The Nightmare locking the Oracle in position. Bulba's moving up. The buyback will actually come out from Ursa, and EG, well, there it is from EGM. Jumping onto the Gyrocopter, able to bring him down, and Loda misses on the clamp on 1437. The Nightmare goes to work. EGM, the Nightmare actually protected him for a moment, but still, it's a double kill for Arteezy. That Alchemist that will want to back himself out of here. And the dominated creep of Chen's, which was taken by the Gyrocopter, finally gets mopped up by Loda.
So Alliance made a couple mistakes when they first made that entry into the Roshan pit. There was a couple things. One of the biggest ones was actually the fact that Admiral Bulldog, when he went in with his hookshot, he immediately got stunned and didn't have the opportunity to pop blade mail. And he took about, I would say, 50 to 60% of his HP before he got the blade mail off at all. So obviously that reduced a large amount of damage he could have reflected back to DC quite easily. It was also the Ursa going in, unfortunately unable to steal the Aegis. That was just quicker fingers there from TC, who actually microed that Centaur beautifully. That was a big part of the reason that DC was able to escape with as many heroes as they did.
So when Helmet the Dominator actually works against the Chen too.
But just look, I mean, think about that. Think about the smokes that they use. That fight is completely different if they have a mech on Chen. Because remember, the heal doubles under False Promise, right? So maybe the Ursa survives through that initial engagement. Everyone else is a lot more healthier. S4 could actually probably turn things around when they were trying to chase him down. Just a little bit more HP. He could probably turn on the enemy there. Sure. But that's what the effect of the smokes were from Digital Chaos. They knew they had to shut down that momentum from Alliance to make sure that they didn't have such an overwhelming advantage. They easily win team fights.
AUI stab. Bulldog's going to hook shot up just to ensure a kill, but wasn't 100% necessary. But it still gets a kill into the hands of Loda. And it looks like Loda's going to be going for the BKB build unless he turns this into like an SNY. Which is another option of his.
Yeah, it seems BKB is most likely.
Alright, that's easy. Back to the mid.
It will force the thing is they still have Fiend Script as well as Swap to save that target. So it's not like BKB ensures that he kills a hero.
Oh, Ursa. Loda's jumping in. Really wants this kill over on Arteezy. He needs to get that slow off, but Arteezy's just too quick. And the rest of DC were rotating up. So support was there for the Alchemist, and Alliance can't get that pick off.
Because of the high number of kills that Arteezy has been involved in, he has quite the net worth advantage despite only one level of Grievel's Greed. And he could still have a pretty fast Radiance, though I'm surprised we don't see the Solar Crest build out of him, given his maxed out levels of Unstable Concoction that he went so early. But maybe he's just relying on the Vengeful Spirit to get that minus armor to add to the nuke.
That's possible. If he just goes full combat, like with the SNY, like, you know, there's still Assault Cuirass on the table. With his farm at this rate, even without the Grievel's Greed, he could be picking up that Radiance. Causing real problems for a Razor, who's going for more of a tanky kind of build. S4 going for both the Sange as well as the Vanguard early on.
Yeah, he knows how important it is just to tank up. So the Vanguards, you know, people usually laugh like, oh, range hero Vanguard, but I still think it's legit. And the Crimson Guard, as we were talking about before, Crimson Guard holds a lot of value against Gyrocopter, and if S4 is committing to a Vanguard, obviously he's going to go Crimson Guard.
Well, everyone's back to their farm until that BKB's over on Loader. He won't really want to join the fight, but they got hookshot off cooldown. And S4 still being fairly tanky. Looks like S4 is going to switch his... Okay, it is going to be the Crimson Guy with the buckler, you're right. Smoke up by DC, and they can hit the bottom lane. But Loader's already leaving. Like, he's going up to the top lane to defend it, so DC smoke up for the bottom, and they won't find anyone. They can move into the Radiant jungle and potentially catch out the Chen. But Arcade's been doing a pretty damn good job of finding these Observer wards. Ever since that first Observer ward got through a full duration, just watching over the little connector in the Radiant jungle, like, he's been pretty much on board of catching every single one of them.
Yeah, Arcade's adapted really well in this game. The fact that the last smoke gank, where they practically dove tier 2 in order to catch him, the fact that it was so close that he almost got out shows a lot about the way Arcade is able to read this kind of unexpected aggression that's coming out from Digital Chaos. It's just way more than you would normally expect from a team, and was able to adapt pretty damn well. Still going to lose their tier 1, it seems.
They'll try and drive the creep wave down, but the aggro wasn't pulled.
Yeah, they just cannot fight without the Ursa. The Ursa is lacking in mana and still isn't here.
But he just finished the BKB. That's the reason why Loader didn't come. He needed the time on top lane to farm up that BKB, which is flying in. So they get the BKB instantly into a smoke, and now they try and fight. So 2 fresh items for this engagement. The Force Staff up for Oracle, and the BKB up for Loader.
One more thing, quick thing. False Promise and the TP back from Chen. Great synergy. Right? Because the hero can't die, you send it back to Fountain, the HP regen is double.
Here they go. 1437 starts this nightmare. But there's no real way out of that. With the battery assault, he's always getting interrupted. They need a follow-up hook shot from Bulldog. But DC just split so quickly that it's just not possible.
Immediately they push out that bottom lane knowing that their stack is forfeit, so they just need to get some map control for the 5-manning of Alliance. As long as they can prevent Alliance from taking any kind of objective from that pickoff, it wasn't really worth the efforts from Alliance. But it seems like Alliance are still likely to get that tier 1 tower, the bottom lane. DC, they could fight 5-on-5, but I think it's unnecessary. You probably just dodge fights for now and wait out Arteezy's next item, which appears to be an AC. So just armoring up as early as possible against an Ursa. And that's maybe why I thought that the evasion picked up from Solar Crest. I thought that would still be an effective item versus Ursa. But the S and Y, just the way that Arteezy's building, I guess, makes sense. S and Y gives you movement speed and a potential maim against the Ursa. And then mass armor is very clearly the best play against Ursa.
Now look at them just prepare Loader. All the life coming up in the world. 1437's waiting in the tree line. The Wave of Terror from AUI. And then Observer Ward, which is also up on the hillsides, giving them a lot to work with. So Alliance can't really work on their left flank to get up to the tower. But when they can just repair S4's life like this, he doesn't care about the acid spray. Like, hits a Plaster Field, drops the creep wave down a little bit further. Now Loader finally going to swipe into the building. As Bulldog moves up, they kind of need to do a D ward here. I don't know if Arcade's walking around with 1 sentry. And he's already going to be predicting there's going to be something here. Oh, will he? Yeah, you can see the pings coming out. No, looks like they don't care. They move forward. Alliance keep the pressure on, and Arcade prepares for a different position. He's actually going to loop around, get an aggressive ward of their own, a sentry out the back end, and allow Alliance to keep attacking in and pushing just through towers. They don't want to wait for DC to come online or to get more space. They just use the sustain they've got and the aggression of S4 and Loader to keep the pressure on.
The Darkseer's pretty close to his Blink Dagger, but if they want to keep this tier 2 alive, they can't wait it out, so they're going to go for the smoke initiation.
Might be a little bit difficult, especially considering they smoked underneath the ward.
Yeah.
So Alliance are very much aware of what's going on. If they can win this fight, take the tower, Roshan's up in 20 seconds. So the winner of this fight is going to get a very big extra piece of cheese.
They're going to go for the swap and then the follow-up vacuum, most likely.
Oh, they're getting close. There's your vac. A Bulldog. A big hook shot in. And Loda gets a wonderful clap, but 1-4-3-7. Fiends grips him up. They need a stun. TC can't TP out in time. Loda is finally released from his cage, chasing after AUY. Is there another clap? 1 second. And it'll slow everyone down. There goes your clap. Even if Loda will die here, it's allowing S4 to go to work with 91 stolen damage. They'll wipe DC from the face of the earth. Bulldog's coming in for the body block, combining it with a battery assault. It will allow EGM to get the double kill. The triple going the way of S4. The tier 2 tower will go the way of Alliance.
Yeah, you saw how difficult it was to deal with that Ursa between the Ursa's ultimate, the BKB, and then the Oracle ultimate coming out on top. DC actually put so much damage into him, and yeah, they barely killed him at the end, but they'd committed every single resource they have to be able to kill one hero, and Alliance are able to just clean up the rest. Now, fortunately, the Ursa being down means that Roshan is not forfeit yet anyway, but Digital Chaos do need to try and stop that. They're going to have a couple Ags coming in. One is going to be for Clockwork, the other for the Chen.
Never-ending hook shots and just such a powerful hand of God to arrive from Ake. It's not as though our Alliance already have enough sustain. Like, I'm surprised I don't actually get a little bit more protection as opposed to just going straight for the hand of God, but I suppose when you also have the changes to the dragons and the other increases you get from the Academ Scepter on the Chen, yeah, it's more than worth it. And what's really the answer back from DC? Like, it's been, like, we've seen right now just how effective RTZ is going to be in a fight. Really not that effective unless the control factors from DC come into play.
Yeah, being able to tank against an Ursa does not ensure winning a team fight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, Alchemist just doesn't do enough damage. He can't man fight against the Ursa because Ursa will always out-lifesteal him. And the build-up of damage eventually will be too great no matter what armor he has. And he's no longer at a point where he can just quickly nuke down a hero like they were doing before with Unstable Concoction.
They're coming to attack again, the Alliance. The Observer Ward they've got, watching over DC's... Okay, now they get the vision over on AUI. They put a fresh ward down. I was about to say that ward's just a little bit too far to the right. They can get perfect vision. AUI thought that 4-staff down was going to save him, but S4 just turns the ulti on. So they get the kill over on the Vengeful Spirit. And they're going to use that as enough of an indication that they can go in for Roshan. That one dominated range creep will be picked up by the rest of them. I didn't want to waste his swipes on that. He wanted just to attack directly into Roshan and stacking up the swipes so quickly. When he turns that ulti on, Roshan's just going to well, melt.
Yep. Next, overpower, pop the ultimate. Or actually, maybe he doesn't. Because it's a pretty long cooldown. 40 seconds. If you immediately fight after the Roshan pit, you'll regret using it there. Obviously, Roshan's a free kill anyway. So he can now have it for a potential 5-man fight at that tier 2 mid. Digital Chaos, though, I mean, I really thought they were going to be avoiding fights because it seemed pretty clear that they can't win them. And now they're going to avoid fights, but it might be too late.
Especially when Loda's got an Invis rune. He's waiting for a straggler just to walk through the river. Bulldog's got his hook shot ready, but he's got no vision of what's going on. And now Loda, he's found his target. He found Arteezy. Gonna blink, attack. You don't have enough damage for that, Loda. Reveals his position, and the rest of DC have already escaped.
What do you think Loda goes for next? Because he went to BKB, it seems like Ags would be too much defensive, so
it looks
I think
like
Basher is probably the best play
He's
here.
just got the Javelin in his inventory.
Yeah, it's probably...
Basher makes the most sense when you talk about a lineup that's got not enough stuns. So that just tells you right there, like what are we really missing? That's how we get it back.
Abyssal Blade will be the end game. Oh.
Starts the Fiend's grip over on S4. EGM wants to try and protect the Razor. Able to do so. The cooldown's going to hit pretty hard. The mech already goes off there from Arcade. The back into the wall. Hand of God repairs a lot of that damage, but with the flat cannon turning on from TC, that damage is enough to kill off Arcade, but the hook shot in from Bulldog, isolating Artur as well as TC. They try and run out of here. The Nightmare controls up Ursa once again with the rocket coming in from Gyrocopter. They're able to control the Razor so he can't keep attacking, but it's just too big when Oracle, EGM just keeps sitting on the back lines, throwing out nuke after nuke, and control after control. Bulba's running off to the side, but it's Arteezy who's in trouble. Loda chasing him down through the riverside. The Nightmare will go on Arteezy. Well, he's got this done. He'll get it onto Loda. And then be surged away by Bulba. And looks like everyone else will TP themselves away to safety.
Oracle will be first ban next game.
Yes.
Either that, or they won't pick up Gyrocopter versus it, or they'll have, or rather, they'll have Ancient Apparition picked up in the first one too. You saw the way that S4 survived through that fight. It was just one Fate's Edict removed all the magic damage that Gyrocopter traditionally puts out. And it was twice. It was twice that he saved S4's life with that same move. And then he gets healed up after a few seconds. He's healthy enough to go back in.
Wondering if Alliance want to go back in right now. Like, Loda's the one getting the heal. They're actually sending... Okay, no. Send S4 and EGM. They've both gone back. And where are DC off to? They still haven't got rid of this Observer Ward. It's almost a full duration Observer Ward in the bottom lane.
Double damage.
That's watching a lot of the movements of DC, and the other one watching the Ancient area. Hello, Loda. Goodbye, TC.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's a double damage, so obviously it's a bit unfair to be like, oh, told you Ursa just destroys Gyro, but, you know, it's still legit.
It didn't help, too, when on the second hit, Loda was able to grab himself a bash on him. So TC, he couldn't even respond with an ability if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Throw a call down, realize he's dead for a very long time.
Artur, what do you do? Does he have the attack speed yet to go Basher? He might have to. Like, if he gets an Abyssal Blade of his own, maybe he can...
Is he
I don't know, without a Blink Dagger, he can't, like, jump on anyone else, so most
Yeah.
likely if he goes Abyssal, it's going to be
There's
when he's
no
matched up against the
initiation,
Ursa.
but what are you going to be doing? Like, you can't, like... Well, you want a Shadow Blade 32 minutes into this game?
Yeah. It's a hard decision to make because he needs too much. If he gets the Abyssal Blade, but he's matched up against Loda, who's also going to have an Abyssal Blade, he'll probably still lose that fight. Without a Blink Dagger, he can't go on any of the other heroes but Ursa, in a way. And that'll just be too much. Blink Dagger and Abyssal is obviously not enough. If he goes just Blink Dagger, it's not enough damage.
Loda's looking for the angle to jump. TZ's the man, throws the concoction out, and Loda, well, he doesn't go for it. S4 was the only one that was really stunned up there.
Alright, let's hope this BKB isn't just destroyed by the double Dark Troll summoners that Ake's got in the back.
They got 30 seconds on Loda's Aegis. So got to keep your eyes on this. Loda cannot overextend this at all. S4 gets stunned. Ursa, okay, he cops a little bit. There's your hookshot in. Admiral Bulldog wants to go for it. Arteezy, they get the 4-star mount. 1437, his little move is mana blown out. But Bulba, a huge fact for a 4-man wall, but the BKB trigger off. Arteezy trying to beat out Admiral Bulldog. The BKB will help him survive because of the Blade Mail, but all they really get for this is the Aegis Immortal out from the Ursa Warrior. But Loda taking so much damage, the heal, the control is not there from EGM and Arke. They can't keep him alive, so they surge up Arteezy. The concoction will throw Arke back. They'll find EGM, but there's not enough damage or stuns to stop that TP out. So 2 heroes lost for Alliance. The Aegis Immortal, like, it was going to time it anyway, so it got burnt, sure. What does Alliance really get? They take a tier 3 tower.
They're well set up at this point in time to actually even out this net worth advantage that Alliance was holding on to. And this will kind of solve a bit of the predicament for Arteezy, because he just wasn't going to get enough in the next, like, 5 minutes to actually outdo the Ursa. But with winning a fight like that, claiming a couple of these outer towers, they might go for the top lane next. It's 20 seconds till the Ursa's back up, so it might be better just to sit back and farm.
Maybe.
I wonder if AUI is considering... I really still think that Solar Crest is the best item for them from here. Unless I missed something, they don't have it. So that's probably his next item, which means, unfortunately, we won't get to see an Ags on Vengeful Spirit, most likely, this game.
If he's going Solar Crest, though, wouldn't you want to spend some of this 1800 already? Like, saving for buyback, sure, that's important. But he's got a surplus of 530 gold.
Yeah, he could have gotten that medallion already.
Which is, like, that's why I'm wondering, like, if it's going to be something else. Like, if it's worth getting a Blink Dagger so he always sits in the back lines. Yeah. And they can just blink, 4-star, swap. Like, a lot of quick control there.
Might be he's holding on to buyback because they lost their tier 3. Because Ghost Scepter would also be a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
That will be the dream for him if he ever was able to finish up an E-Blade, but that's exactly that, it's a dream.
So it's either Blink Dagger or he knows what item he wants to go for, but he just doesn't want to buy it yet in case he needs buyback.
Well, there it is, Medallion.
Okay.
So he doesn't wait out for it. TC has managed to complete up the BKB. So that's a nice thing for him, but now we get, well, more sustain. Be it through the aura or be it through the lifesteal that's there.
Ursa's kind of trolly on, Mask of Madness is kind of trolly on Ursa. It's very much a hit or miss item, but I think with an Oracle, it's actually more hit than it is miss.
Hence the Vlad's is, oh.
But instead he went for the Vlad's, which has just always been the consistent pickup for Ursa, even with the change to the modifiers and how they work with Fury Swipes. Vlad's has still been just, it's too good, it's sustained, like the mana regen's really nice for him because he kind of lacks that. The armor up, obviously the damage increase and lifesteal is amazing. So, yep, it's Abyssal Blade next for Arteezy. Picks up the Basher now.
So he's just going to hope he can run into the fights and find that control. I suppose Alliance is also running at him. So it's just a counter initiation from DC that we have to be looking for.
EGM's got a Ghost Scepter, but he's also now got a Plate Mail, so looking to have a Lotus Orb.
Tower is under attack.
I still have yet to see a Lotus Orb against Swap.
Gold is a great
AKA just cancels it out.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, swap, swap.
Yeah, primarily that'll be for the Fiend script, so the Bane can't do anything against him.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the play, though, is the swap is actually a bit dependent. Remember that Tier 2 fight that I said Digital Chaos should be swapping and then going into the vacuum?
Yep.
The idea behind it is that you swap the frontline hero of Alliance, so you get them really dramatically out of position, and then Alliance naturally have to 4-man forward in order to, protect that hero and make sure he's no longer isolated, and that just naturally sets up, Alliance to group up for a vacuum wall combination where Bulba's going to counter-initiate. That should be kind of like the play every single time from Digital Chaos, because what other response is there, really? Alliance isn't going to just leave that hero way behind enemy lines, because then it's just too isolated and he's 5 versus 1.
Alright, DC. They're going to start up on Roshan. Loda can't blink himself in because the Tornado. And Arteezy's being very quick about this. Bulldog's still got Hookshot available, and he kind of has to go this. There's no rocket to give him vision, and, well, Roshan's already down, so he'll Hookshot in, find Arteezy. The Cogs pushing 1-4-3-7, but not back on top of the hill. And now Loda, they want to go for it, but they get back out of their own Cogs. The perfect control with Arteezy going ham. The BKB is up. He's looking for another bash over onto S4, but they Fiend script Ursa, so Loda can't do anything. 1-4-3-7 doing it for the team. Now the double concoction's done as well, but Loda almost out live-stealing the Alchemist, but it will not be enough. A triple kill coming in for the magnificent stand-in of DC. Arteezy actually winning it for AUI this time around.
Yeah, Alliance just completely screwed up that team fight. First of all, the way that Admiral Bulldog initiated, like Roshan goes down, he still walks into the pit. He hook shots, but he doesn't scoop back and get a Cogs pushback, which is what he needs to do, because he can no longer lock the Alchemist in with him in Cogs and just pop Blade Mail, because Arteezy's just going to respond with the BKB every time. And that he just kills the Clockwork. But also, the fact that EGM got caught there was actually pretty critical, and that 4-man vacuum from Bulba was a great play by him, but they can't afford the Oracle to be caught in that situation because they desperately need his saving mechanism when a fight goes wrong.
Bulldog is going to jump in. They push back Arteezy. EGM already ready to go. S4 with that aggressive TP4. They actually, EGM starts attacking into TC instead. So they let Arteezy go. And S4 trying to keep going with this movement speed, but he can't keep up, and the hook shot's too short from Admiral Bulldog. Unable to reach over towards TC, and now Arteezy, now he's the man to put himself on the front lines, but AUI will arrive. They protect S4, but the double stun and the back in. Arcade's down, there's no buyback, he only just bought the Aghanim Scepter, so there's no money available. EGM with the TP, but nope, Arteezy is able to get the bash off. Admiral Bulldog also controlled by AUI. The Cogs are making a little bit of a distance here, and that's why AUI is going to die, but now the rest of the DC cores move up onto the hillside. Bulldog trying to hookshot himself away, but then it's S4. We're already back to having Fiend Strip again on 1-4-3-7. 4 heroes down for Alliance. Another triple kill.
That's pretty much game.
Coming the way of Alchemist. And yeah, that's going to be mid-rack to potentially more.
Yeah, I mean, it's either Alliance are just like limping by in this game, or they call GG. Either way, they just made too many mistakes. I don't think that this is a game that was, you know, this hard for them. Jesus, Loda just kills one, and the BKB is gonna last long enough.
Okay, problem is he keeps getting stunned up. There's no Abyssal Blade for Arteezy because he doesn't have the mana for it, but Loda will die. He'll buy it back. They understand it's an all or nothing right now, and Arteezy's giving him the opportunity because he's still got the Aegis the Immortal, but TC, instant bash from Ursa. So TC will drop, consistently stunned, and back from Bulba. Another 3-man hit. No concoction available. The Acid Spray's off cooldown now from Arteezy, so he'll ensure the kill over on Arke. And Loda is trying to get the stacks on Arteezy, but again, remember that Aegis the Immortal is still there. The Abyssal Blade goes again, slowing down Loda, so the Aegis the Immortal will pop. Bulba is currently trapped in with Bulldog as well as Loda, and Arteezy back to World of the Living. And how much damage can he do? Not really a lot. There's no BKB charge, there's no Chemical Rage, so he's in too deep. A double concoction stun, he'll buy him a little bit of time, but it's just not enough. Arteezy will end up dropping, giving almost 1,400 gold towards the Clockwork, and DC, they didn't claim the second laner for Axe. They did get the middle one, but they had that in the bag. They stuck around and gave so much back to Alliance.
Yeah, Digital Chaos had just backed out. They could have been, we won one team fight, we took the mid laner Axe, we won a second team fight, we forced a buyback. That's a huge economic advantage you just gained to yourself, and you could just back out, farm away on an Alchemist. You've got all the map control in the world, but now, I mean, one really good thing for Digital Chaos there, which was completely out of the control, Admiral Bulldog was the one who picked up the kill. That was so important, because if Loda was the one who picked up the kill, that's an Abyssal Blade, just like knocking on your door, essentially. He already had 1,200 gold. You add another 1,400 gold bounty or whatever it was, and the Abyssal Blade's probably up before the next team fight, and that can change everything.
Arteezy is now going in for what appears to be, well, I'm assuming a Monkey King Bar or a Daedalus. Is that what this Demon Edge is for? I'm just...
let's see. Do they have any evasion? They don't.
Well, they never bought the Solar Crest you were talking about, so no.
Oh, well, no. Digital Chaos did. I wanted the Vengeful Spirit to pick up the Solar Crest, and she did do that. But Alliance have no Solar Crest. You're right on that.
Yeah.
And...
which is, yeah.
That's the...
So then you can
Daedalus?
You can get away with the Daedalus.
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
it's one of the most efficient.
You need to out DPS the Ursa, right?
Yeah,
like, that's the only way. You got to kill him quickly before he's able to just regenerate himself with his attacks. And now DC are getting ready to attack. They surge forward. AUI. The Aghanims Chen creeps. And then a defend, but they get the swap. An EGM, and a very quick pickoff. AUI will sacrifice himself, and then again EGM! He survives for so long! They get a good back wall, now 1437. Fee's gripping up Loda. Loda just can't attack. Bulldog will finally come in for the battery assault, and the cog split up. It's a double kill for S4, but really, how much more of a cost is there going to be? They've already lost Loda in this fight. S4 still got a high amount of stolen damage, but Arteezy tanking through a Chemical Rage one more second, and Arteezy, he's losing too much life. Now the Chemical Rage is gone, but the surge away. Bulba is able to save him. He will be able to survive barely.
That Fireball did some decent work there. That Ancient Black Dragon going to town. Ake was probably hoping for the Golem first, and he'll have the opportunity to actually get the Golem now, which would have made, I think, even a bigger difference in that team fight. But just the difference between the two supports, the fact that Vengeful Spirit dies instantly and has no impact in the team fight, doesn't soak up any extra damage, and Oracle does. In fact, he survived so long because they stopped attacking him, again, because you don't know whether or not he's actually going to die. You're not sure if you put 2,000 extra damage into him, or if he's actually going to be able to survive or not. There you can tell from like the graphic, but it's just a simple like red or green scenario. Green means you're going to get healed afterwards. Red means you're going to die. But red, I mean, if it's 300 damage, if it's 5,000 damage, you're not sure which one it is. So they stopped putting damage into him, and he actually healed up and still got a couple of spells that were critical. One of which being Fate's Edict.
I'm wondering if Alliance want to fight directly after Ursa respawns. And the only reason why I'm thinking this way, or actually maybe it's just because DC is going to fight right now. They bought a fresh new Flying Courier because they lost theirs during that fight. It only had one smoke on it, but they don't have it for 3 minutes, and they needed to get it back again because S4 needed to complete up his Assault Cuirass. It's got a minute and a half left on the countdown, but they bought it just to make sure they had the AC already fully done.
So the Daedalus is probably the most efficient damage item you can get this late into the game, especially with the change that happened where MKB is a little bit more RNG focused, where you get more damage out of the procs but less damage overall. And then the exact opposite happened with Daedalus, where Daedalus is much more consistent damage because they up the percentage chance and decrease the damage a bit.
Well, missed that one.
Yeah, nice pickup on the darks here. Missed that one.
The rest of DC are down on bottom lane, where they're getting ready to attack. It's a couple of Alchemist illusions on the front lines. S4 is going to give some momentum towards the mid lane, but that momentum doesn't last long, especially when Arteezy, okay, he wants to attack him, attacks into S4, Bulldog lines up and gets a perfect hook shot. He'll lock him in with the cogs, and this is now that time when it's actually not so bad to be locked in there with Arteezy, primarily because they had the rest of Alliance behind it. They force the buyback out from Bulba as Loda jumps forward, misses on the clap, which gives Alchemist the space, and Bulba another big fact, a 3-man hit. The Aghanim's ulti comes out from Arcade, so a lot of life for returning once again, and 1437. This control was there on Loda as he forced halves down, Glimmer capes away. They've got the space, but Bulldog wants to get to the front lines. He won't get the cogs off, however. He'll get pretty much instantly stunned. And Bulldog will drop as the rest of Alliance back out of that. It still ends up being a, like a dieback. Or dieback, a buyback over on Bulba, and a death for the Clockwork, so it's still a 1-for-1 trade-off in a way.
I think that's okay, though, because 45 seconds on the clock for the Clockwork, plus they managed to get the Chen creeps. They expended Wall Vacuum, but they could probably still take that second lane of Rax. Alliance are just going to be forced into a 4 versus 5 position. The rest of them do have their ultimates, so they are in top fighting form as just a 4-man. So I guess DC aren't going to take the fight. Oh, Roshan's up in 20 seconds. It's probably too important to ignore.
Well, you know, Alliance is going to come over and try and take it. It's amazing how much that new ability of the Ancient Black Dragon does. Actually looks more impressive than Jakiro's Macropyre in a way.
Yeah. If you manage to get a disable and keep someone there on top of that, I mean, it's relatively small AoE, but 85 damage per second. Pretty good.
Bulldog hook shots out so he can be involved in the smoke. That Dire Observer Ward, yeah, it's actually scouted out the smoke.
Rock it on.
The fresh one they put on top of the hill. It's another thing to keep in mind, that hillside is a little bit further up now, a little bit further to the northeast, which means you see a little bit deeper into the jungle from that spot, but you lose a little bit of vision further south, so you don't see what comes out of the lane.
Something that's critically missing right now for Alliance is any sort of counter vision against Glimmer Capes. This is why a lot of core players are frustrated with Glimmer Capes, because support players, they pick that up. They have such a big impact, and a single target focused hero that builds up momentum like Ursa is actually really susceptible to that exact item. So DC, they not only have the swap and the 4-staff, but they also have that Glimmer's Cape from Bane that's going to be really effective at saving that one hero that Ursa's trying to bring down.
Bane's TPing back. So 1437 on the defense duty. Removes quite a large amount of damage with that Enfeeble on Razor. But S4 still keeps the pressure up. They understand that Roshan's alive. The Yoga Frost Mage, the rockets flying over, so both teams very much aware of what's going on as Loda takes out the Frost Mage with that aggressive blink forward. He's not going to get caught out. AUI did it. He was in swap range, and the Wave of Terror gave him all the vision he required. But Arteezy with this Invis rune, there's no detection on it. And it looks like Alliance just don't want to be part of it. The bottom lane's out far enough. They might just be able to get a counter Rax and force DC to TP back 1 by 1. So it'll be an unfavorable setup against the Alliance attack.
Yeah, DC are completely out of position. Good call by Alliance. At least one free building.
Also helps when Arteezy's not carrying a TP scroll as well as the Gyrocopter.
Arteezy's coming in from behind, though, with that Invis rune.
Yeah, but look at Bulldog's position.
Yeah,
they
he's got him,
initiate
though.
on him, so Bulldog dead so quickly from the other side of the tree line. Loader as well, going to be isolated if they can get a couple of lucky bashes. All 1437, the Fiend's Grip control. It's going to break free thanks to that stun coming out from Arcade. And Ursa being controlled up once again, but also being such survivability thanks to EGM, but not enough to survive up against Alchemist. The Concoction was finally able to connect, and now they're chasing after the next big core. It's S4 who's going to go down the mid lane. There's buyback on both Loader as well as S4, but the triple kill Arteezy once again. The Roshan's available, and the bottom lane, well, it's been pushed in pretty heavily, so S4 bought back just to defend.
Yeah, the biggest difference between these two teams is that DC, despite the efforts by EGM to purge off the sleep or to False Promise or Lotus Orb in order to deal with the Fiend script, they just have so many disables to kite the Ursa, and then the Razor doesn't provide any disables of his own, nor does he do enough this late into the game to be a viable carry.
Yeah. He's just too far behind.
Yeah.
Like, even if you just think about itemization, maybe that can bring you back into it. Arteezy's got such high net worth. They're going to go for one last fight here. Arteezy focusing on bringing up the Megas here. He's still got Concoction available as Admiral Bulldog playing around the mid. They already bought back over on Loader, hence he's now being controlled up by Nightmare. He just can't do anything, and Bulba just keeps the distance, backs them back. Arteezy still working away, and there it is. The Megas are up. Admiral Bulldog locked inside of his own cogs. Loader will die. Arteezy's making this look way too easy as RK, the Ghost Hit will buy him a little bit of space, but Arteezy's keeping up with him. He's going to go underneath the fountain to ensure this kill if possible, and actually will end up losing his life. But really, it doesn't matter. GG has been called, and game number 1 of Alliance versus DC will go the way of DC here for WCA.
Digital Chaos looking good. This is their second win in the group stage. They took a game off of Team Liquid, which was impressive, and then they just took a game off of Alliance, who 2-0'd their previous series. So Digital Chaos are looking pretty good with RT